Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am Kelly Bowen, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Hey guys, it's Em Kel here. We just tried to do a 1, 2, 3 record and we fucked it up.
I balled it right up. Didn't realize record had a 2-button press for record. But anyway, here we are. Welcome to episode number 7. What are we talking about today, Em?
Today we're talking about masculine and feminine energies and why men aren't stepping up and why women feel they have to do everything. This is going to be a touchy fucking subject. This is going to really rub some people up the wrong way, but I want you to bear with me because when you have an understanding of why you feel the way you feel, that's when you can start bringing things from the unconscious mind programming, bring them to the conscious mind and start getting your power on and start changing shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Kel, do you want to go first? Or you want me to just run with it?
I reckon you run with it and I will add little bits and pieces in because this is your playing field. Like this is where you really fly. So I want to let you shine and help like support you and sort of guide the conversation so that you've got these beautiful sort of spaces to really shine your genius and serve our listeners.
You're amazing. Thanks, babe. So feminine and masculine energy has nothing to do with yonis and penises. It's not it's not a science, it's an energy. So it's masculine, feminine energy. And masculine energy, I can just sum it up really quickly. It's very goal orientated. It's very progressive. It's very action. It's very doing. I sit in my masculine energy a lot. I'm a real go-getter. Action. Someone gives me an idea and it's action within seconds before they've even got the full sentence out. I'm that kind of person. Kelly will tell you.
Yeah. me too. Like same thing with finance. I've got to be on it. It's masculine all the way. Like it's so task orientated, focus orientated, goal orientated.
Yeah. So I'm naturally in my very masculine energy, which is there's a goal, you just do it. Then there's the feminine energy, was more about receiving. You will still get a lot of stuff done, but it's more in a more receivership, more gentle, more floaty way. And I give you an example, right? Here's the clearest and cleanest example I can give you. In masculine energy, if I'm to clean my house up, I'll write a list and go kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, laundry, and I will do it. The kitchen will be done first. And I will go down that list. I will not leave that kitchen until the kitchen's done. If I'm in feminine energy and feminine flow, I might go from the kitchen to the bathroom, then to the lounge room, and then back to the kitchen. It's getting done, but it's in a more creative way. I'll probably be playing music. I'll probably be dancing around. I know a lot of you can't see me right now, but right now I'm actually wearing a little fairy crown on my head.
Beautiful.
Like a little fairy in a garden.
Beautiful flowing curls.
Thanks. I've got a background. It's all flower. I feel like a fairy in the garden.
So fairy here.
Yeah, so I'm very much in my feminine energy when I'm in receivership. And so feminine energy is very nurturing. It's very creative. Masculine energy is let's get this done now. Now, there's 3 kinds of masculine energy and there's 3 kinds of feminine energy. Now, what I just explained to you is very centered. I call it king energy and queen energy, or centered energy, centered masculine and centered feminine energy. Centered masculine energy, you're like a brick wall. You're not going anywhere. Now, there's 2 other masculine energies. There's the disowned, which is your shadow, and there's the distorted, which is the tyrant. So the disowned masculine energy is, I'll give you an example. So say if I'm at work all day, I'm with clients and I'm like, bang, 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 freaking, I'm in my masculine, bang, 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 work, 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 work. And then I sit on the couch and my boys want to talk to me. So I've got two beautiful boys. They're not boys, they're freaking 19 and 20 now, but they will forever be my babies, Kel, or forever be my babies.
Absolutely.
So say if Ben wants to come down and talk to me, but I go on my phone, I've actually disowned. So, you know, when men go to the man cave,
yeah,
I call that the bullshit, fuck off, you've just run away from me cave.
I do that after work sometimes too.
Yeah.
I've had a really busy day and my, like that part of me, I've exhausted all of that masculine aspect energy that I have. I'm straight out. I want to distract myself with something to refill that bucket.
That can be, that could be you stepping your feminine energy in a very centered way though.
Okay.
The masculine energy is disowned. You're not there for your family. You've emotionally cut off. So what a lot of people do, yeah, I've done my duties. I've cooked the meal. I've made the money. I'm out. And when we emotionally cut and we emotionally shut down from our family, and that is where most issues are happening in families right now.
That's a really key distinction. I'm really glad you pointed that out, because even when I do that, I don't shut off emotionally, but from being task orientated, that part of me is completely shut down. What happens after that? Yep. And I think, like, now that you've mentioned it, I can see like there is aspects in my past relationship where I would literally finish and be, my job is done, but all of me would shut down. Mentally, emotionally, physically, like, leave me alone.
Yeah. So there's replenishing yourself, because we sit in our masculine most of the day. We have to sit into our feminine, and that's when we need to receive. We need to receive a meal. We need to receive some time. We need to receive the couch, some pajamas. Do you know what I mean? We need to receive some quiet time. But we're also, if somebody wants our attention, we can show a boundary, a healthy centered boundary, and say, hey, babe, can you just give me 20 minutes? Because I want to be here for all of you. Can you just give me 20 minutes? Because I am full right now of shit going on in my brain. I want to give you my best. Just give me 20 minutes or half an hour and I'll be there with you. That's centered.
Yeah.
So we have a disowned masculine where we'll run away. So if we see the other person about wanting to have some conflict or an argument, instead of being our masculine energy and going, babe, I've got you. It doesn't matter what you say to me. I'm right here. I'm right here to let you vent. They'll run away. Then you've got your distorted masculine energy. So your distorted masculine is very manipulative. It is very, from 0 to 100, it goes angry very quickly. I used to sit in that kind of masculine, distorted energy with my children when I was little. I learned it from my mum. I learned it from my grandmother. All the women on my side of the family were very distorted masculine, go-getters. Great go-getters, got shit done, but it was very controlling behavior. So it was, you will eat your dinner. You'll do it now. If I told you to put the bins out, I'd tell you to do it now. If I wanted you to do it at 6 p.m., I would have asked you at 6 p.m., wouldn't I? You know, all that crap, right? People will be able to relate. It's actually distorted,
I'm laughing because there was elements of my dad that was it. Like, it was 0 to 100, anger really quickly when his way wasn't had. And like, I made a promise to myself that I would never do that. So it's been really interesting unraveling me, allowing myself to feel anger and me allowing myself to express anger, because I would choose the other option rather than express the anger. I would disown.
There you go. Yeah. And then the centered, it's completely different. You're infallible. You're just solid. It's the most easiest way to that. When you're centered, masculine or feminine, that is when that's when your nervous system is completely gone. It's just completely calibrated. You feel calm, you feel good, you're on. There are no problems when you're centered. So we've got the 3 kinds of centered masculine energy, right? So you've got your disowned, where you run away. You've got your centered, which is just a beautiful, Let's get this done. I've got you. I support you 100%. Then you've got your disowned, which is your very angry, 0 to angry. And then what will happen, they'll go to 0 to anger, and then they'll jump straight back into disowned because it's guilt and fear.
Yeah.
And shame. So that lots of shame. So when you're in disowned or distorted, it's a lot of shame around it, a lot of trauma, a lot of shame.
Sounds like emotional whiplash.
Yes. Then there's the feminine. So the feminine energy is very receptive, and we come in and out. We do it in a conversation. So right now I'm in my masculine energy because I'm feeding you information that I want you to have. You guys are listening. You're in your feminine energy. You're receiving it, right? And then when Kelly talks, I'm in then my feminine, and she's in her masculine. We swap the whole time. It's got nothing to do with
gender.
It's got nothing to do with dicks and vaginas, guys. No dicks and vaginas involved, right? So, so then the feminine side, there's 3 kinds of feminine as well. So there's your disowned feminine, there's your centered feminine, and then there's your distorted feminine. So disowned feminine are very wounded. They play the martyr. They play, everything's my fault. I'm so dumb. I can't do anything right. And they'll run away to the bedroom all the time.
I struggle with that kind of feminine energy a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, me too, right? Well, you and I would particularly, because we're very solution-based.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
They don't want a solution.
No.
They love sitting in that space of just pity me, poor me, pity me, poor me. And they run away.
Mm-hmm.
They run away from situations. Kel and I see it a lot with business owners. They go, yeah, I want to be making $1 million a year. I want to be doing this. I'm doing that. I'm like, what are you doing about it?
Yeah, I want to do it in 12 months and I want that deal, but I don't want to have to do anything with it. And the thing, then that should get me there. No.
Yeah. And you're like, well, just start posting on Facebook or do a live. Oh, but I don't want to do that.
Well, then
how the fuck do you think you're going to figure it out? How do you think people's going to find out who you are? It's just disowned feminine, very wounded, all that. Then you have your distorted feminine, which is extremely manipulative, extremely controlling. You can't fart unless mum tells you to, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything has to be just so, and it's exhausting.
Yeah. That's very much about like maintaining certain social appearances, isn't it? Because I see that a lot, like within that distorted feminine, like we want to have and appear to be the perfect family. Like, don't talk about your stuff outside of the family unit. Always like speak this certain way in front of other people, and we behave this way, and we don't do this or that in public. Like it's sort of like the personified like stepdad wife kind of family, soccer mum kind of thing.
Yes. So you've got the picket fence and the front lawn looks amazing, but you've got a kid inside cutting themselves.
Yeah.
So distorted feminine energy won't allow their children or people around them to feel emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So if a child's crying, they will actually feel it's because of their fault. That triggers a shame response, and they will not go into shame. They'll go into control.
Yep.
So they'll start saying things, what are you crying about? You got nothing to cry about. You're only 5. 5-year-olds don't have real problems. Or if the child's angry, right, go to your room. One of the worst things anybody can do is send an angry child away from themselves or ignore them, because it's abandonment. Yeah. So that child's now learned, right, I can't trust mum or dad or whoever's bringing me up because I'm actually abandoned at my most vulnerable time. Crying is not vulnerable. Crying is strength. Anger is vulnerable. It's interesting.
Yeah. Why the distinction there? Why is crying not considered vulnerable and anger is?
Because crying as a child, we do very naturally. Mm-hmm. We're born crying, basically. We do it very naturally. That's the first kind of, what do you call it? Like the first signs that we give that we're hungry, that we need something, is to cry.
Right, it's our first way of communicating. Okay.
It's the first way of communicating. So we're very used to it. It's the anger that is when we're told we can't cry or we're left as a child in a cot. Controlled crying is one of the most horrendous crimes against fucking humanity. To leave a baby in a cot to cry themselves to sleep is pure abandonment, and we're taught to do it.
Mm.
And then we wonder why we have so many adults my age, you know, who are, we're full of anxiety, full of depression, because we don't know how to feel.
Yeah. Or self-regulate.
Yeah, we just don't know how to self-regulate. And, you know, this is why it's so important to see a practitioner.
Mm.
And this is what I do. This is how I help people. So regulate the nervous systems, help them heal the old wounds, and let them know the most amazing thing you can do is to feel an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Once you feel an emotion, you can have an emotion come through. It takes about 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas people have this idea that, hey, if I start crying or if I let go, I may never get up. It's actually so not true. The unconscious mind will not let you fall.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a wound or a belief system will. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Trauma will, but your body won't.
Yeah.
So there is actually when we sit in our beautiful centered masculine and centered feminine energy, life is really easy. You'll have problems, of course you do, but it's so much easier. And I might give some people some examples of that beautiful masculine, the difference between beautiful masculine and feminine energy in the same scenario. So say you've got a 14-year-old kid, and I'm a mum. Say my 14-year-old comes up to me and says, I've had the worst day of my life. I hate it. Whoa. And I freaking hate you. You're a piece of shit, mum. And now most mums or dads or parents or guardians or grandparents, whoever's looking at that child, will go into a trauma response. Don't you fucking talk to me like that, or they'll run away. Mm-hmm. They've just played the role. They've just now turned to a child from a child's point of view. So if you're in your centered masculine, there is a goal to be done. So what you do instead is, hey, I feel your anger. I feel your pain right now. What do you need me to do for you?
Mm.
And they'll tell you. And if they say, I don't know, then you fall into your feminine energy, which is not goal orientated, but nurturing, and say, I'm here for you. What do you need? So first off is, what do you need from me? Because I'm going to fix something for you. Then the second one, if that doesn't work, you go in your feminine, because they might just need a sounding board.
Yeah.
You know, what do you need? What do you need? And you literally, do you need me to hug you? What do you need me to do? I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Because when a child or anybody screams at somebody, it's never about the other person. It's always about their own self-worth. And they're always coming from 2 points of thumb: trauma and shame.
Mm.
Always trauma and shame. But if you sit and you're centered, so if you go distorted or you go and you're disowned, you're actually playing life. And I call it the prince and princess.
Yes.
They're entitled, they're in victim mode, they're brats, they're bullies, you know what I mean? You know, they give you the shits. But when you're in your centered, you're a king or queen, or a god or goddess, whatever you want to call it. God, goddess, centered, king, queen, whatever it might be. But that's my magical space. And that's when I get shit done. Because you can just feel it. You can feel it in your own body. If you're on a computer, I do this a lot, guys. I go really into distorted, and then disowned when I talk about technology.
Oh, me too. Oh my gosh.
First off, I'm like, I don't want to do it, and I don't do it. Like, so it'll be days like, I don't want to do it. I'm hiding from it. And I go, fuck, I've got to do it. So who's really coming out to play? It's not 50-year-old Emma. It's probably 7-year-old Emma who, you know, at 7 years of age, yeah, exactly, couldn't do something and then went, I'm not going to do it ever again. And then I get onto it and I go, I can't do it. And I get shitty and I want to throw the freaking computer. So I'm disowned and distorted. Nothing's going to get done. I'm on a merry-go-round of failure. I'm not going to get it done. Then when you come in, when I come into my centered and go, right, I have to step into my centered masculine energy because there's something to be done. Then all of a sudden I get really resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
Super resourceful. And I can literally think of 5 people or 10 things I can do to help me do what I need to do technically.
Yeah.
Names will pop up, like, oh, let me call Kelly. She'll know someone. Oh, let me call Alan. Let me call this person. Let me call that person, or let me Google it and I can watch a video on it. And the next thing it's done.
Yeah.
You won't get shit done. If you want a good relationship, if you want a good life, if you want a really great, fucking great, amazing, thriving life, you have to step out of this disowned and distorted bullshit.
Absolutely. Speaking of distorted, my cat's having a field day in his little tent. Can you hear him?
Is he? Yeah. Cupid, what you doing? But wait, Cupid wants to be on the
let him out. 1 second. Yeah, I find the same thing, particularly when it comes to tech stuff, because that seems to be the one thing that tends to bring out the worst of my personality.
Mm-hmm. Me too, babe.
If it's not logical and I can't just log in and click some buttons and figure it out myself, I find I get really frustrated. And the whole thing of slowing down and actually reading what the thing says, that's like, the stereotypical man not stopping for instructions or directions or whatever the saying is. And then once I have to get to that point where I'm like, okay, stop, slow down, read the thing, follow the instructions, which is also the healthy masculine stepping in, because it's following a logical step-by-step process. And then if that doesn't work, if I'm centered, I can then access my feminine, which starts going, okay, well, if I can't solve this problem, what are my other options? And that's when the creative aspect of us starts to come and go, like you said.
Yes.
What else can I do? Can I Google this? So when we're in that healthy centeredness, I can totally see where the resourcefulness comes in, because we're able to fully access both parts of our brain. Because I always get this wrong, but one hemisphere of the brain is all about the feminine and the creative and that receiving aspect, and the other part of the brain is our logical, our masculine energy, our goal orientated, our focus. And when the two work together, it's like we've got access to this super consciousness that makes us so resourceful and so incredibly powerful, where we can have our full emotional intelligence online, present, ready to serve, and also all of our resourcefulness of like that warrior energy that can hold us and get shit done, where people feel so incredibly safe around us, because we feel they know like that there's that trustworthy energy, there's that trust that comes with the masculine energy.
Yeah.
And like, just as you were listening, as I was listening and sort of receiving a few of those things that you were sharing, it had me, I always go back to this with like unresourceful feminine energy, or like when we're talking about the disowned and the distorted. One thing that I've really noticed, like a key distinction between healthy masculine energy and healthy feminine energy, is when the feminine energy hasn't been developed. And this goes back to Alison Armstrong's work. Are you familiar with Alison Armstrong?
No, I'm not.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Alison Armstrong.
We love her. So she's done heaps around. She's got one really quite famous book called The Amazing Development of Men, and she talks about the different stages men go through and they're like what they require at different aspects to really develop into that healthy king energy. From she talks about it from like a knight's like, sorry, not a knight, a page is like the young stable guy that wants to be around the knights and helps them saddle their horse and gets them ready for the adventures. Whereas the knight, like that, which I think page goes up to about like 10 or 12, and then they start to become young knights around 12 to, I think it's in their early 20s or later 20s, where when a masculine energy is going through this is where they want to be out and having fun and exploring the world and having lots of fun and promiscuous activity and sowing their seed everywhere. And they're really sort of like testing who they are and their boundaries against the world. And then they go into the prince stage, and they have like early, middle, and late prince. But the prince is all about staking his claim and starting to build his kingdom. And at this stage, at early prince, he's going to try lots of different things to see what he likes. And eventually that stake's going to go down and the kingdom's going to go up. And depending upon the kind of prince he is, he's going to build a kingdom. He's either going to be looking for a princess to build the kingdom with, to become a king and queen together, or he will want to develop the kingdom first and create this beautiful space to call his queen into.
Oh, I love it.
Right? Isn't it beautiful? But depending upon which way the young man or the masculine energy is wired and his life experiences will depend on whether he is a build together or a build and then call in. And then once they get into the by middle print stage, if he's called in a partner, then he really wants to build with her, and the feminine's all about supporting him through this journey for creating life together. And then they go through a tunnel to actually become kings, but that doesn't happen until their 50s. Some of them might go through it in their earlier 40s, but it's this whole journey of what happens with the masculine energy to becoming like a real centered, like king kind of energy. And then with the feminine, she also has her own developmental journey within, being that like the gift of the feminine energy being diffused awareness, which is us really being able to be so situationally aware of our environment, where, you know, like I'm sure you can relate to this, Em, where you've been walking around the house and you can see the dishes are going, hey, I need washing, or the bed's not made, like, oh, I need to make that bed, or the don't go upstairs and look at the boys' room.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the environment just starts talking to us so loudly. But it's this evolutionary thing that we have as women built into us to constantly be aware of our surroundings, because back as we were evolving, we needed that to be able to know like what berries to pick at what time so it wasn't poisonous. Like where, like what part of the day don't walk past the line pride, because that's usually when they're hunting, we don't want to get eaten. And then but this is what's really interesting about unhealthy feminine energy. And I see this, and when I see movements like We Rise Together, it makes my heart really happy, because to me, it tells me that the feminine energy is really evolving into her centered energy. But the difference between the masculine and feminine is tempered with team, honor, and loyalty. A guy can be pissed off at you, but when the other village comes to invade your village, he will be right there by your side and he will fight with you, because he will drop that disagreement and be there with you. Whereas with the feminine energy, she might be your best friend at breakfast, but if something happened while you were out picking the berries and you guys had a disagreement, the tiger comes around at lunchtime, bitch, she's pushing you straight in front of the tiger, take her, leave me alone. That's because the feminine energy is not developed in team, honor, and loyalty. They're masculine qualities. So as the feminine sort of really integrates her own masculine energy, she learns to develop team, honor, and loyalty so that she can actually be there for her fellow sister, even in disagreement, and still love her equally anyway. So
I love it. We need to give people that book. So like tell them, what's the name of the book?
So there's two. So Alison Armstrong, The Amazing Development of Men, and her other one is Understanding Women. And she goes even deeper into it. It's like explaining how women communicate in terms of we have meta reports, which means if a woman comes home and she's telling you all about her day, and I saw Mary at the shops and we did our little groceries together, and she got some tomatoes and I got some bananas, and then we talked about the kids, and then like if she's talking to you like this, she's happy. This is a happy woman.
Yes. And men, guess what you have to do? Listen to her.
Smile and nod.
Smile and nod, people. Don't ignore her. Don't tell her to shut up. Let her go, because I got something to tell you. So what will happen in the unconscious mind, women and small children, young children will do this. They'll waffle. And you know what I mean by waffling? They'll just talk some shit. You'll find it with kids. Kids will just talk about Pokemon for 20 fucking minutes, right? You're going, oh my God, I'm about to go insane. But what the actual unconscious mind always wants to know it's safe. So it'll give you the crap to see if you're safe, like the small talk, to see if you're listening. Are you there for them? Because if you're there for them during that, then they'll give you the gold. Interesting. But what most masculine energies will do, they'll go, oh, here we go again. You've told me this. I'm not interested in that.
What's the point?
Yeah. Tell me, can we just get to the point?
Yeah.
You know, and I can't, one of the things that I do in relationship sovereignty, you know, I take clients to this amazing program called Relationship Sovereignty. And I actually have to teach the masculine energy in the relation. Now, don't get me wrong, these masculine energies and feminine energies can be same sex in everything, right? It doesn't have to be a male. We're not talking dicks and vaginas here.
No, my last relationship was with a woman. She was naturally more masculine at core, and I'm feminine at core.
Yes.
And our polarities switched when that happened, out of like us being in our woundings for too long, and then I had to be more in my masculine and she feminine. It's like the polarity of the relationship was completely switched.
Yeah.
Where I think also too, like where the non-binary like gender relationship comes to with the them, they, and the other pronouns, it's because masculine feminine is not determined by body and gender.
It's not at all. It's just an energy. It's
yeah.
the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
You know, it's somebody taking goal-orientated charge, because if you're both taking charge, nothing's going to get done. It's like, imagine that masculine energy is two swords, and you just got two swords fighting. One has to fall in the feminine energy. And this is the problem with a lot of relationships. Either both in feminine energy, so they're running away from each other, or both are in masculine and they're fighting each other.
Because they're both wanting control.
You have to allow one to go in feminine, one to go in masculine. But you cannot fall into your feminine energy until somebody is in a centered masculine one. And I'll give you an example. This is one example I give my clients. Say you got a pride of lions. What does the lion, the bloke do, right? The lion goes out. So say you got all these little cute cubs and shit. Mum's home feeding the cubs and teaching them how to play and how to hunt butterflies and stuff. Dad goes out and he goes around the perimeter, makes sure that everybody's safe, and he grabs dinner for the day. Imagine Dad comes home and goes to wife, hey, girls, I've had a big day. I think I'm just going to hang out tomorrow with you guys. She's like, you can't though. We're going to get eaten and we'll starve. He goes, yeah, don't worry about it, dolls. We'll be fine. So she says, right, well, I have to go out and do it then. Now, her nervous system is not built for this. It's built for it in a very short amount of time. So she'll go out, she goes, right, yep, I'm making sure everything's great. Dad's at home watching Netflix with the cubs, right? Chasing butterflies. Okay. So mum's out there. She's had to step out of her feminine energy of play, feeding, teaching, nurturing, loving, to right now, I've got to be the protector. So her whole nervous system has to change. She's running on adrenaline the whole day. So she might be out for 10 hours, making sure for, the whole of however long the light is or however long they go out for. And she's going the perimeters and she's grabbed a zebra, she's brought it home, here's dinner. And the next day, Dad goes, I kind of like watching Netflix with the cubs. It's kind of cool. I think I might stay home again. She's like, but I'm exhausted. Like, I can't do this again. Well, you'll be right, dolls. And she has to go out and do it again. And this is where women, now we are talking vaginas and dicks, women are built differently in mind and body to men. Mm-hmm. So men can shake off adrenaline very quickly. Women cannot.
Nope.
And this is the problem with, this is my take on it. I believe all these freaking autoimmune diseases are because women, and who's mostly getting all these autoimmune diseases? Women. Because we're sitting in fright and flight too much. We're in our distorted masculine. It's not natural for us. Mm-hmm. So we're out there, we're working, we're looking after the family, we're coming home, we're looking after the kids, we're doing this, we're doing that, while a lot of us have very disowned partners. They're checked out. They're either in the man cave, or they're on their couch with playing, Candy Crush, or they're drinking, or they're gambling, or they're out at their mate's house, or they're doing something like that. We need a partner to step up, for us to feel safe enough to relax. We cannot relax our nervous system unless we know we are safe. If we've got a partner who we don't feel safe with, we can't relax. And I mean physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every single way, we have to feel safe with that person.
Yeah, 100%. And if we don't feel safe, we don't want to be intimate.
No, because when we're in our fright and flight, we switch off. Literally, when you're running away from a freaking tiger, are you thinking about fucking?
Nope.
No. Are you thinking about digestion?
No.
No. And we wonder why we can't shit. We can't fucking buddy do all these kinds of things. It's because we are in fright and flight. You calm that nervous system down and you learn, you go into deep healing around the old wounds and learn how to step into a centered masculine, centered feminine role. And masculine role isn't walking in your house, go, right, you fuckers, you do this, you do that. That's distorted. That's fear mongering. That's bullying.
Mm-hmm.
When you're coming from a very centered way, and you know what? I got to tell you, Kel, all the clients I had, I didn't know how to do it. I had to be taught how to do it. My husband, Anthony, didn't know how to do it. He was very disowned. He was actually disowned feminine. I was distorted masculine. You know, and even sex was just like, for me, was a chore. You know, I better do it because I don't want to be one of those wives who don't do it. So I'll just do it. You know, I was a great faker. And then when you come in this beautiful centered, you know, energy, oh my God. I mean, Anthony and I have been together, 18 years. Our sex life's amazing. But it's connected. It's not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's a spiritual fucking experience. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, but we're in our centered, and it's a practice and you have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just listening to that, I think my last relationship, I remember saying all the time, it's like, I just don't feel emotionally safe. I don't feel emotionally safe. I don't feel emotionally safe. And because my body was so flooded with the adrenaline and cortisol, I went the complete opposite way. There was no part of me that was going to have sex as a chore. I was just like, no, I can't. My body won't.
Yeah.
And in like the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 month journey has really been this whole practice of bringing the regulation and safety within my own nervous system and learning to rebuild those aspects of myself. So there is safety within me first, so that I can then clearly communicate what this is externally and recognize what is and what isn't, and being able to, rather than like in aspects with my math, like if there's something called for me to express anger rather than disowning it, being able to step into being like, hang on a minute, there's a boundary here and that's not okay.
Yeah.
Which goes back into like the previous episode that we were talking about with the fawning, because essentially with the fawning, it's the foregoing all of the emotional needs, essentially foregoing your security and safety to try and get it perceived elsewhere by maintaining somebody else's nervous system, which never works. And then it comes back around, and it's just this loop where often the masculine ends up in the feminine and feminine ends up in the masculine. And you wonder why you don't feel safe, because there's this whole imbalance. So let me ask you a question, Emmy. If we were to give our listeners something that could really help them, like if they've identified with anything of what we've shared, they're like, oh, I can see some of those patterns going on within myself or within my own relationship, so that they don't get off this call and go home and start pointing fingers at partners and things.
Don't do that. Don't start pointing fingers at anybody.
Where's a really good place for them to start, to be able to start healing these aspects within themselves? Because I know, like, we're both big believers that healing always starts with ourselves first before we go pointing fingers anywhere. So if we were to, like, if one of our listeners were wanting to take this journey to start, like, coming into their own centered masculine and centered feminine, because that's really is what's key here. Like, this is what a really healthy, emotionally mature human being is, that we're able to sit like strongly within both polarities of our energies simultaneously and individually. Like, where would be a really good place for them to start, or to start that journey?
I'm going to be completely honest. It's not going to take a book.
No,
it's not. And it's not going to take, listening to a podcast here and there. It's not going to be listening to this or that. I am going to tell you the God's honest truth. Reach out to me. I actually take my clients through relationship sovereignty. It's a program that I developed, and it's worldwide. I'm actually teaching it for the first time. So I'm actually, and it's so exciting. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I'm really excited. On the 7th, the 11th of March. So I'm actually going to have 15 practitioners worldwide who will know it.
Fantastic.
You know, this is something that you want to be guided through, that you want to be taught. You want to be held. You need to be held through this. This is huge work. Relationships is everything because it links into everything. It links into your relationship with yourself, relationship with your own body, which I think we need to talk about maybe next podcast, Cal. Our relationships with our body.
Yeah, like
bringing our goddess fucking sexy energy back, you know?
boundaries and consent. I think this will be like.
I think we should do that, yeah. But you know what? Really email me, Emma Romano, Emma@emmaromano.com.au. It's so easy. Emma@emmaromano.com.au. Send me an email and tell me a story. And then let's have a chat. I'm so approachable. Don't anybody think there and go, oh God, Kel and Em, there's a meekness. We're not, we're people, and we fucking love what we do, and we love talking. Can you guess?
We have our own talk show.
Hence, we have our own talk show. So reach out, email, and let me look after you and let me see if I can help you or there's another practitioner who can help you. But you don't want to be doing this on your own.
No, and
I couldn't do it on my own. There's no way I would have learnt what I did, and there's no way Anthony and I would be where we are now if we hadn't have done intensive freaking work. And you know what gets me? People will go and service their car every few hundred, 1,000 kilometers, even if there's nothing wrong with it, but they won't do it to their relationship.
Or often themselves.
And that just floors me. It's like I'm booked into the dentist every 6 months, regardless of if I need anything done, but people won't do this for their relationships. And I'm talking relationships even for self, like relationship sovereignty. I've got lots of clients who are not even in a couple. It's just they're on their own, but they know they need it. They need it to heal, and they need it for their family. They need it for their children. It's just relationship with their mother, relationship with their children. Relationships are everything. Relationship with self, it's the most important thing.
Isn't it? Because we don't get who we think we are. We get who we are. So, like, that's our point of attraction, and that's where we have to sit in that cognitive dissonance. So if we're attracting people into our reality that we're noticing that aren't really what we think are vibing or the kind of quality people we want to be attracting, it's not them, it's us, because we're always the point of attraction.
100%, and we can only attract the energy or the frequency that we are. So if you're attracting really shit people around you, you've got some frequency or energy there that's going, yeah, come on in, baby. I don't have that energy anymore. I used to be like that. I used to have energy vampires around me all the time, but it's because it was feeding a need within me.
Yeah.
And I look at my life in the past 4, 5, 6 years, especially the last 2 years, has really changed for me. And the people that either run away from me because they can't handle my high frequency, because it brings out their shame a lot for them, because they're like, oh shit, she's done all this work. I'm not willing to do it, but I want to be like her.
Or around her.
Yeah. So they kind of run away, which is fine. It hurts, but they run away. But then I always think one sort of low frequency person leaves, you gain really high frequency people.
Absolutely.
It's like Kel and I, my God, we let go of some people last year. And now Kelly and I, we're like besties. It's nuts. Like, we've just come so far in the weirdest meetup ever.
Funny, I was sitting in the spa with my best friend, I don't know, like 2 nights ago, and I just had this epiphany moment. Like, if I could go back and tell me 10 years ago that was struggling with lots of different things, like I was still stripping, I was still taking lots of drugs, I wanted to be in a relationship but wasn't, and the one that I was in, like it was ending, and I was still in love with that person, and the holding, every time, like, my life was progressively getting better, but every time it got that little bit better, I'd want to cling to that better thing, and I wouldn't want it to change, and because You know, I was kind of like, all of this is as good as it gets. I don't want to let that go. But if this 10-year version of me went back and spoke to that version, I'd be like,
No.
okay, babe, just chill with every relationship, situation, event that either changes or transforms into something else. Allow it, because it is this and something better that's coming. The only thing that's going to slow the process down is you holding on to it and being so emotionally attached to it, because you are growing and evolving, and so is it. And when I look back, like everything that I found like really emotionally challenging and really hurtful and painful, when I look to where I am now, it's like all of those things became so much better. Yes, some people left, but the people that came in were just fucking phenomenal, beyond my wildest dreams, a match for who I am, my values, what I want in life, who I want to explore and do things with. It's been incredible. And even at the end of my last relationship, it was shitty. Like, it was an engagement. I said yes to spending the rest of my life with this person, and slowly decayed over a 2-year period. But even the letting go of that, because I'd had these clear track record examples of where in letting go it got better. And even when I look at my life now, there's so much more comfortability, if that's a word, comfortability in
We'll make it up. We'll pretend it is a word, Kel. It's a Kel word, comfortability. There you go.
In the transitions and the transience of life. So like when I think about it now, like, oh, okay, that's falling, like something's falling apart. All right, well, there's something better coming, and I've got enough proof now when I look back that that is what happens when I let it go and transform and take the journey. What then evolves and comes in is 100 times better. And I think relationships and doing this work is very much the same, because the person you're with is either going to grow and evolve with you, and we see it all the time. And then also want to be honest too, sometimes depending upon what state the relationship is in, for you to heal, you've got to leave.
Oh,
and that's okay.
Oh God, yes.
A failed relationship does not make you a failure. And I think sometimes...
No, and people have got to stop doing this. Oh, but I have to be loyal. Loyal to what? Loyal to pain or loyal to yourself? Why are you being loyal to pain? You know, there's this, I just want to share this analogy. So I've just come back from this amazing 4 days in the rainforest. So I was in Port Douglas, and I'm sitting in the Daintree rainforest, sitting in this incredible river. And I've just taken a moment, and I'm sitting in the middle of this river, snorkeling in a river. And there's trees around me, there's everything around me, and everything's flowing. And I'm a very spiritual person, so is Kelly. And we get these messages. We're just clear conduits to messages from source, from whoever. And it was just, I got this little message going, you know, this little thing going, you humans have all got it fucked up. I've gone, what do you mean? You've got, you know, you complain about kids having a 9-day wonder with toys. You know, when you give a kid a toy and it looks at it and then it chucks it out of the cot and then it looks at something else and, oh yeah, I played with that for 2 days and that's gone. They've gone, why do you want them to hold on to the same thing the whole time? And I'm like, you hang on. I said, you have to explain this better to me. And they said, you humans have been conditioned to hold on to pain to make you small. You are more controllable when you're in fear and pain. And that's why it's so painful to hold on to pain, because it's so naturally not natural. And I went, oh my God, we have been hypnotized into, oh, that must be so sad. You must be still so upset about your divorce 20 fucking years ago. Oh, I can't believe that that's happened to you. I'm like, well, it was 20 years ago. Yeah. I'm good. You know, we should be like a river. Let it flow through. Let the emotion flow through us, not over us, not under us. Feel it, see it, it'll go. But let's stop holding on to shit.
Yes, and let's stop keeping it alive by holding on to the pain, because sometimes it's exactly what we do. Like if we've experienced loss, to keep the memory of the loss alive, we cling to the pain. And we're too scared to let go of the pain because we feel that's what, then we're going to lose all connection to that dream, person, thing, whatever, house, relationship, whatever it was, we cling to that because that's the only thing that's still keeping it alive for us, but it's stopping what, like, the new amazing thing that's coming in.
And
So
then that is also a trauma response, because if grief can stop us feeling shame. Oh, it goes so deep. It goes so deep. Kel, I reckon
we started with masculine, feminine energy.
Yeah. I reckon, I know, we just go keep going, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this podcast. It was a big one. Let it sit with you. Let it mingle in there. Please reach out to us. Like, give us comments.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on. I've been getting beautiful private messages, actually, Kelly, especially about one of our podcasts about the agreements.
Ah, yes, tell me.
And what they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've agreed to this and I've agreed to that. I can see it now. So it'd be really interesting to see how you guys go with this, feminine and masculine energy. And let's see you next podcast.
Yeah, let's see you next podcast. So you're going to have so with this, if you're not already in our Inspired Conversations Facebook group, come over and join us there so we can keep the conversation going. You'll see a post about the episode. Once you've listened to any questions you've got, if you'd like to expand on something, or if you'd like some support from us in regards to the episode, that's the place to do it. We've also got the Inspired Conversation email list, which means you will get notified immediately as soon as we release a new episode. So make sure you're part of that. Excuse me.
Thank you.
And we will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. We love you very much.
We do. We love you guys. Thanks so much. Aw, I love you, Kel.
I love you too, Em.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.